Hello my beautiful friends and welcome to my channel, and today I have got my TBR jar picks, my March reads. So I'm doing something a little different this month. So I did pick my 10. I had pre-filmed it since the jar itself is at the other house, and then I wanted to film here because my physical books were here, and then I was wanting my husband to pick some books as well. So I had my 10 picks, but because it's St. Patrick's month and my husband and I are both Scotch-Irish, I decided that I wanted 13 books, but apparently my husband can't count and gave me 14. But that's okay. I'll take it because the one book is really small. So let's go through what the jar picked and all my choices, and let's discuss it and all that fun stuff. And I'm actually really excited about the picks for this month. Okay, so let's go back into the TBR jar. One word title. Get into it. So the first thing I drew was a one-word title. So what I did is I actually have several one-word titles, but what I did pick was the book Lore. Lore is what I picked for my one-word title, and this is by Alexandria Bracken. Basically, the synopsis for Lore: every 7 years, the punishment for past rebellion, 9 Greek gods are forced to walk the earth as mortals, and then they're hunted, and the person who kills them gets their powers. And so all of these Greek gods kind of band together. Author in a developing country. The next one I drew was author of a developing country. Now this one I chose independence because the author from India, and so she talks about it's 3 sisters and their struggle against India's freedom, or get their independence and their freedom. It's back in 1947. So yeah, so it's got that sisters trope, so it'll be fun to see how these 3 sisters work together for a common good. So yeah, that's what I picked, is Independence. I mean, it looks really good and something that I've been wanting to read for a while now. So yeah, yes, that is my pick for an author from a developing country. A book with yellow. Next one I chose was Yellow, Liquor and Flame. I'll have it up here too. But there is yellow in the fire. So yes, so this is what I chose for the color yellow on the cover. A human in a magic-based world, or biased world, and but a night at the nightclub changes everything, where she meets 4 strangers who unbind the magic she never knew she had. I believe that these strangers are her protectors. So basically, she turns a certain age and magic awakens within her. She doesn't even know she has it, especially when these 4 strangers show up. Then all of a sudden, she's got powers. So that's the story on that.
Bought for the cover.
Okay, so the next one was something I bought because of the cover. So Seeker I bought, and I'm like, I didn't even read it. I literally was just 100% blind buy at the bookstore. I was actually at a used bookstore that I frequent often. So you could buy used and new books. But anyway, so this one I bought because of the holographic cover. So Seeker is in holographic, and the sword, the rams, and the wind, it's all holographic, and it's absolutely stunning. So yes, this definitely caught my attention, and I'm like, I gotta read it. I don't care what it is. I gotta read it. And I love things that are based. I love fantasy, but I really love stuff that's medieval. So this looks medieval to me, but I don't think it actually is. I think it's like a futuristic world. The night Queen Kincaid takes her oath, she will become what she is trained to be her entire life. She will become a seeker. This is her legacy and her honor. She will work beside her closest companions, Shinobu and John, to protect the weak and the wronged. So that's what this one's about. So I picked this one because of the cover, because it's beautiful and it's got holographic on it, and I love that. I love that. All right.
Could be a lot of them. Most of mine are bought for the cover. Green.
So the next thing that I drew was the color green on the cover. And so I was actually really excited about picking green because March is the green month. And so I automatically knew exactly what I was going to pick. And so I chose this book. I don't think the original book has green in it, but I have a special edition one. So this one's Witches Steeped in Gold by Cyanan Smart. Cyanan, I believe. I think that's how you say her name. But isn't this cover like stunning? It's got the spray painted edges. And so this one is witches. I believe they're sisters. Sworn enemies to the two witches enter oh, no, they're not sisters. It's just two witches. And they enter a deadly alliance to take down the woman who threatens both of their worlds. But revenge is a bloody pursuit, and nothing is certain except the lengths Araya and Jasmine will go to win the game. A fierce and thrilling story where dangerous magic reigns supreme and brutal lurks beneath every word. So, yes, I got both books. This one is a signed copy. I have the Empress Crowned in Red as well in the special edition cover because, of course, I have to have matchy. So this was my book in green, and literally everything is green about this book. It's absolutely stunning. Yeah, I tracked down this. I don't have Fairy Loot. It's something I've been on the waiting list for. And so I found this on, what's the app that I use? Pango Books. And so I bought these used. I paid $30 for both the books. For being special edition books, I paid $30. That's really good. So.
Nope. Futuristic world.
There's that. All right. The next one I picked was futuristic. So I chose Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schulte. And this one, I believe this is like a dystopian kind of futuristic world. They find themselves entangled in a conspiracy that leaves all 4 of Quadra's queens dead. With no other choices on the run from Kirali's former employer, the 2 decide to join forces, endeavoring to discover who has killed the queens and save their own lives in the process. So, yes, this one looks super good, and I'm excited about reading this book. So, yes. And I haven't read anything from this author, so this will be a fun one.
A banned book. Ooh, I know exactly what to do for that one.
The next one was a banned book, and I knew exactly what book to grab, and this one was a gifted book. So I had somebody gift me this book. I had just listed, I'm in a Facebook group, and I had listed that I like banned books. So this was what got sent to me, was Catcher in the Rye. And so I would like to read this. It's been a long time since I've read this. We're probably looking about early 90s since I read this. So 20, 30 years ago. Like, yeah. But what I think I'll do, I think I'm going to annotate it. I think I'm not one to do that with books. Like, I keep my books in pristine condition. Like, I don't bend the spines. I don't dog ear. All my books, I try to keep them in pristine condition. But because it's been 30 years since I've read this book, and I've grown up, and my perspectives have changed. So I am thinking about really taking my time with this book and annotating it and writing my thoughts out and all that stuff. So I think this is the book I'm going to do that with. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I am. So, yeah. Catcher in the Rye. I can't remember why it's a banned book. Probably because of subject matter or things that was said in the book. I don't remember. But it's been so long, I don't even remember the premise of the book. Let's be honest. So it'll be like a whole new time reading it. And I'm sure things will come back to me as I'm reading it. Hence why I would like to annotate it and put my thoughts in the book. So, and maybe pass it on to my daughter, who knows. So yeah, that is my banned book choice.
Well, I think I grabbed 2. A memoir. Oh, I know exactly what to do with that one too.
Next one is a memoir. So what I chose was, oh gosh, I don't know where it's at. Anyway, I'll just add it in here. It's a book that I also read 30 years ago when I was babysitting. I remember the lady I used to babysit for had this book, and she's like, Zelma, you need to read this. So I did, and I cried through the whole thing. It was pretty hard for me to read, and I could not believe that people do that to their children. But I just found out that this might not be an actual memoir, that he made it up, which really sucks if you think about it. But the book is called A Child Called It by David Pelzer. And so this is supposedly about him as a child and the things his mother did to him and the horrific things. I just remember some scenes where the mom got mad at him, I think, because he ate a banana at school and she could smell it on his breath. So she literally grabbed his hand and put it over the stove and burned his hand. Would put him in the bathtub with, and open up ammonia bottles, throw him downstairs into the basement. He literally lived in the basement, you know, just these awful, awful things. And so I would like to reread this book.
Cozy reading. Okay.
So that is my memoir. The next one would be a cozy read. And this one was one that I read the first book of the series. And it's just a little novella. But I really loved it. And so I have the whole series. So I want to read the whole series. So I'm going to read book 2. And this is in... it's by Emma Lee, and the first book is Body in the Bookstore, and so the second book is Body in the Snow. So I'm going to read Body in the Snow. So the next one would be Body in the Snow, and this is about an author who is in hiding after a bad divorce. She buys a house in this cute little town where she was last happy with her husband. And so, but then somebody gets killed and she's like number one suspect. So she has to try to solve the murder. It's a super cute little cozy mystery. And yes, so I'm really excited about reading the second book in the series.
(1950 to 1969). Okay.
And the last thing I drew was 1950 to 1969. And I wanted to really read The Women. Now, this one is based during the Vietnam War. And it's about this girl's brother went into the Navy and she wanted to follow him. And so she tried to get into the Navy, but you have to do 2 years of basic or something like that. And so she couldn't get over to Vietnam to be close to her brother. And so she tried a couple other things. And then ended up the Navy or the Army took her. And so now she is a nurse during the Vietnamese War. So this one is a historical fiction, and I am going to eat it up like crazy. My dad was an Army Airborne Ranger, and so any books that are based during this time frame really I'm more curious about. I want to read just because of that whole thing. So we have this. So this was my choice for 1950 to 1969, and this was during the Vietnam War. And I think this book in particular starts out in 1967, which is literally 2 years before the end of my thing. Oh, 1966. I was close. So, yes. All right. So now let's go into the books that my husband picked. Okay, Sir James. It is your turn to pick a book. Actually, pick 3 books.
Pick 3 books, huh?
Yep. Because I already got 10 books picked. And because it's March and St. Patrick's Day, let's do our special number 13, our lucky number 13. So I need 3 more books to make it 13.
13.
So, I want to talk about some things though. So I pulled everything forward that is okay to grab. Anything that's pushed back, not okay to grab. That means I've read it, or it's a number 2 or 3 in a series, and I don't have the first book in the series. So
it's okay if I pick out something that even pertains to me, huh?
You could pick out whatever you like.
The darkest mind.
The darkest mind. This is one that I started and never finished.
Because nobody would like to be in my mind.
Okay, that's your first big book you're picking? Okay. So all of these are my thriller, horror. These are like romance. This is just random. And then we have sci-fi fantasy here.
Yes.
And some down there as well. If you pick Shatter Me, I've already read Shatter Me, but the book behind it, I have not read. So that is okay.
So that's the next in line with that. Is that a series?
Yep. I've already read Shatter Me, and you know, I was like swallowing it up.
I believe in keeping up with
series?
With a series. So
okay,
yes.
There we go.
In fantasy, I love fantasy movies. And I see you might have a dragon. Is this a dragon?
Now that's number 2 in the series, and if you pick that, then I need to find the first one in the series.
No, I don't know.
But that's okay if you get it, because I'm okay with finding the first in the series.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be okay, because I would feel strange if you reading a second in a movie. That's like watching a movie number 2 before a movie 1.
Yeah. Well, I would. You know me. I have to read stuff in a series in a row, even if they're standalone.
And this one looks like it might be a series as well.
That's the start of a series. Yes, that's book number 1.
The Fourth Wing.
The Fourth Wing.
And I think that's an Audible too, isn't it?
An Audible? Yeah. Is it something you'd like to listen to?
Trust me, it crossed my mind. Let's see what we got here. Looks interesting.
Turn it around, look at the back.
Yeah, it's about an alchemist. There is no good without evil. Well, of course. Can't have one without the other.
Do you notice anything about that?
Yes, it's an Asian book.
Yes.
Which I
enjoy
my Asian
You
stuff.
do love anything that's Asian themed. Yes, you do.
That's why I'm doing the new Shogun series as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one is about, I think, Joan of Arc.
That would be a good one.
I think. Hold on. I think that one's Joan of Arc. I can't remember.
It still would be in the lines.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would be a good one. Because that's a good story in itself. There you go.
Okay. Now you have 4 there.
You want me to pick another one?
Well, no. I said 3.
No, there you go.
If you want me to do 4, I could do 4.
Do 4.
I said 3, but...
I know how you are on reading, too. And this is a small book, so...
That is a very small book, yes.
So, there you go.
And actually, I wouldn't be reading the full book of this, because this is actually 2 books. And so I'd read this is 2 books in one. So I'd read the first book in it, and then I'd have to read the third book over there, and then have to come back over here and read this one, the last other half. So this one's going to be a really, super quick read.
Yeah, so that would cover the base with it then.
Okay. So.
Because I know how you are on reading.
The man has spoken. You know how I am with reading.
I know.
All right.
Yes.
So we got it. Perfect. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
I told him to pick 3 more, and he picked 4 because he's a goober. So the first thing he picked was he was making a joke. And he says, a book about me, The Darkest Minds. So this is a book that I actually had started. And I had marked this because this is a book, a different book in there. So I only have to read to 488. But anyway, I started this book like well over a year ago, and I never finished it. And this is my daughter's book, and I need to get this back to her. So I'm on page 192. So he picked this, which is great because now I can finish it off this month and give this book back to my daughter and steal the second book from her. So, yeah, she was asking me about it if I still had it, and I go, yeah, I do still have it. So, yeah, that is the first book he picked. The next book he picked was the next in the series in the Shatter Me series. So in the video it shows grabbing a different one, but what happened was, since I had all of the books in order from here to here, I took it and turned it sideways. How did I turn it? Oh no, I took it like this, and then I turned it like this in the bookcase, and then put the first book here, not realizing that the next book in the series was actually the last book in the whole series, not the second book. So I realized the mistake after he had picked out the book, but he intended for me to read the next book in the series, which is a little novella. This has actually got 2 books in it. This is Destroy Me and Fracture Me. So I got to read Destroy Me, and then I read book 3, and then I read Fracture Me, because I think Fracture Me is 3.1 or 3.5 or 4.5, whatever. I have to read, half of this, and then read some more of the main book, and then come back and finish this off, and then read more. So there is that. So and he knows that I will devour this up like mad. So I bought this brand spanking new from Amazon. But look at these pages. Doesn't it look like they got wet? And that they just pressed it together to try to flatten it out? Yeah. This kind of looks like it got damaged of some sort. I bought it brand new on Amazon. The whole set of these novellas. But, oh well. It is what it is. I'll take it anyway. So, he picked that. The next thing he picked was Fourth Wing. And, I already picked out my little bookmark. Oh, want to see my little bookmark I picked out? It's so cute and perfect for the season. It's a clover. It's all about the good lucksies. So he chose this, and I also need to get this in Audible because my husband requested it. He used to be a big reader, and now with his bifocals or something, I don't know, he had eye surgery, and now he struggles with reading books now. So he did make mention that he is interested in this book, so I will have to get it on Audible, and so we can listen to it together. So I guess I will be doing this one on Audible because he wants to join me in it. Or I could just sit there and just read it out loud to him too. I could do that. I don't think he'll mind too much. But I don't know if I could do all the voices though. But yes, he says he's interested in it. So yeah. So he picked this. He loves dragons. So he does have a dragon tattoo. He loves dragons. So I'm pretty sure I knew that he would like zone in on that. And I actually am surprised he did not pick an Asian themed book, because I have 3 of them up there. And that's like his thing. He loves like movies and books, anything that is based in an Asian country, be it Japanese, Korean, Chinese. I mean, literally anything goes. He just really loves the culture. And so I'm surprised he didn't pick one of those books. So, but I'm not surprised he picked a dragon book. I do know my husband pretty well. So, and then the last book he picked was this one, and I had the premise of this book wrong, but I had re-explained it to him, and he goes, that's okay. It still sounds like a great book. So I'm going to be reading Half Sick of Shadows by Laura Sebastian. And this is another story in Camelot. So, there's King Arthur, obviously, Guinevere, Lancelot, Morgana. But this one is about Elaine. Elaine alone carries the burden of knowing what is to come. For Elaine of Shalott is cursed to see the future. Now, this is about Elaine.